Hey, if you're an options trader, then you definitely know the biggest thing that helps you with your profitability is figuring out which way a stock is going to move. There's really no other way of doing it. Whether you're buying calls, selling puts, buying spreads, doing iron condors, the most important thing is figuring out which way the stock is going to move, whether the stock's going to go up, going to go down, going to go sideways. You still have to figure out which way the stock is going to move. So in order to get ready for the trading week ahead, we're going to look at some charts and we're going to see where stocks are moving, which stocks aren't moving, and we're going to figure out what to do. So if you want to see what I'm seeing on the charts, stick around. You're going to want to watch this video. So let's go. All right, Lee Lowell here, smartoptionseller.com. So we like to look at the charts and figure out where things are going and where things aren't going. And every week, pretty much, we look at the charts and see what's happening. So let's just jump right in. We start with the indexes, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, the Dow Industrials. We use the exchange-traded funds for each of those to see where the market's going. Most of the time, the indexes will lead individual stocks because most of the time, individual stocks don't have news items or things that are going to make that stock move. So the indexes help drive the individual stocks, typically on a daily basis. So we're looking at the SPY, which is the exchange-traded fund for the S&P 500. And what you see in front of you is the charts that I look at. I have the price action up here. Each one of these bars is 1 day's worth of trading. This is a daily bar chart, open, high, low, close bar. These are not candlestick charts. And down here is the only indicator that I use. It's called the RSI indicator. It's an overbought, oversold indicator. We've got the 80 level and the 20 level, which signifies to me the overbought and oversold areas. You can change those to whatever you want. And up top here, I also have 3 moving averages. I got a 50-day, 20-day, and 200-day, all simple moving averages. So let's take a look at the SPY here. See what's been happening. Now we know since last October 2022, the market's just been going up, 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 which has been a great thing. And the last time we looked at charts here, we had the 460 level on the SPY as the area of resistance. And if the index could get through the 460 level, it was probably going to start moving higher and start getting to that all-time high of $480. So we can go back and look at the charts here. Let's look at a different time frame and look at we'll look at the weekly. Okay, so you can see here all-time high just before 2022 ran into the downtrend. The SPY or the S&P 500 hit 480. That was the high, and we're almost there. Just on Friday, December 15th, we closed 469.33, and you can see we got a little above that on Thursday. The high on that day was 473, so we're only about 7 points off the all-time highs. And, you know, people were looking at this double top area at 460, thinking that the market was going to be held down. But what happened this week was the U.S. Federal Reserve had their meeting, their monthly meeting on setting interest rates here in the U.S. And they basically said, the Fed said that, you know, inflation's been coming down. That's been a good thing. The reason why we've been raising interest rates is to help bring down inflation. And they've come to a point where they said, probably in 2024, we're going to start reducing the rates at least 3 times. So that just set the market off on a skyrocket higher. You can see here, the market just took off Wednesday and Thursday this past week. And that's all the market needed to hear, that the Fed was going to bring down interest rates. And why is that good for the market? Because lower interest rates means less borrowing costs for companies that have to borrow money will have to pay less interest on their loans. And that will help the bottom line for their profitability. Also, when interest rates come down, I should say, that means people will put less money into fixed income securities and put it back into the stock market because historically the stock market offers the best returns. Okay, so interest rates lowering is a good thing for the stock market. So things are bullish. The end of the year is typically a bull seasonal period for the market. So the only thing I could see happening is the market's just going to keep running up until the end of the year. We may take out that all-time high of 480. So things are looking pretty good for the market right now, the overall market. Let's look at the NASDAQ. We use the triple Qs, and the triple Qs is the ETF for the NASDAQ. Also, look at that nice power move higher this week as well. And let's see what the all-time highs are for the NASDAQ. And let me move myself over here for a second. And let's go out to the monthly. So here, yeah, we almost hit all-time highs. The all-time high in the triple Qs was about 408 and change. And we were at 405. So pretty close to that. Things look strong there. Let's look at the diamonds, which is the exchange traded fund for the Dow Jones. And what I mentioned this past week for my newsletter readers is that the Dow had already hit all-time highs. You can see here, this week alone, this month alone, took out all-time highs that we saw way back in early 2022. Let's look at the actual Dow index itself. Let's go back to the daily chart here. Okay, so the Dow got above 27,000 for the very first time this week. Let's we can type that here on the chart. Let's take a quick look. Let's see. Let me get my Dow. Here we go. Right here. Pull that up. Did I say 27,000? I meant 37,000. Excuse me. Above 37,000 for the very first time. That is a nice move. We can even go back and look at the monthly chart for the Dow. You can see that right here. Okay, the prior all-time high was roughly, it was just under 37,000. So there we go. Nice move for the Dow. Everything looks strong going into the end of the year. Let's look at some individual stocks here. We'll look at the more popular stocks because that's what people are interested in. And we want to take a look at some ways that we want to use this. For us here at the Smart Option Seller, we're all about put selling. Put selling is more of a bullish strategy. So we like to find stocks that are, either have come down on a big move for whatever reason and then looking to turn higher. We'll sell some put options at that point. Or we see stocks that are already in an uptrend and pulling back to an area of support and then getting ready to make that next move higher. That's our high probability timing pattern that we use to get into new trades. So let's look at, first of all, let's look at Apple, because that is, I think Apple hit an all-time high this week. Just under $200 a share. Let's go back. If you want to see longer term, you got to go back to the monthly or weekly charts. So here's our monthly chart. So there you go. I'm gonna spread this out a little bit, and you can see here the last all-time high came in just in July this summer. The high was about $198 a share, and just this week, Apple hit $199 and change. So just under $200 a share for Apple. Hit all-time highs, and it looks strong. It's not overbought on the RSI, so I can see Apple moving higher, getting above that 200 level, and keep going. So Apple's looking pretty strong. Let's look at. I want to look at NVIDIA, because NVIDIA has just been such a strong stock here. Let me pull this up here. Here's NVIDIA. And you'll notice a lot of things that we have drawn on the charts here. You'll see these blue lines. These are the channels that we like to draw. You can see here more channels. Back in 2022 when the market was going down, we use visuals by using these channels, and these are hand drawn. Okay, you connect tops, you connect bottoms, and it just gives you a visual of what state the market is in, or what state the stock is in. You want to go along with the trends. If the trend is up, you want to keep going along with that trend. You wait for a pullback to a support area, and then it keeps going. So here we see NVIDIA has been in this sideways channel between $400 and $500 a share, basically since August or so. So here's the next resistance area, right around $500 a share. Had pulled back to here's the 50-day moving average, the red line right here. The blue line is the 20-day moving average, and down here is the 200-day moving average. So NVIDIA most likely can get some mojo going. If it can get above $500 a share, possibly this coming week, it's going to keep going. I think, the seasonal period, people want to buy these things up. If it can convincingly get above 500, it's going to keep going. Now, let's look at Adobe. Adobe has been another incredibly strong stock as well. Had the support right here. We can see the support line that we drew right around 500. Adobe had earnings that came out the middle of this week. It was making a high here around $630 a share. Got hit on the earnings. Although the earnings were good, it was a little bit light on the future guidance. That's why it sold off at the end of the week, but you can see right here, here's the 50-day moving average. These moving averages typically will act as a magnet, okay? It's not a coincidence that the stock will stop on a certain moving average. You can see right here, this was Friday, yesterday, and even on Thursdays, these last 2 days right here, found support right on the 50-day moving average. So if the buyers come back in this coming week on Adobe, look for it to move back up to the highs that it hit the prior week, around $630 a share or so. You want to stay with the momentum. You want to stay with the trend, okay? So if Adobe starts bouncing strongly off the 50-day moving average here, it's probably going to keep going and take out the highs here around 630. Let's look at some other popular stocks. Let's look at Amazon. Amazon, you can see, has been in this channel, fell down through the channel, but here was the 200-day moving average, waiting down below to catch it. And Amazon looking pretty good here, looking strong. I like how it has this upwards momentum. It's just getting through the resistance right here. Let's draw a line. This is what we like to do. We draw a line right around this $150 level right here, okay? So it looks like Amazon wants to pop, just pop through it just a smidge just on Thursday and Friday this week. I think if it could pop through convincingly sometime this week, it's going to keep going past the 150. So if you wanted to, take a little speculation here, you can, use that $150 level as your point of reference, okay? If it starts getting through 150, the momentum is going to keep it moving higher. I like how Amazon looks here. Let's look at Google. We look at these big NASDAQ stocks because these are the ones that really drive the market, okay? So this is Google. Okay, there's two symbols for Google. If you look here up in the top left corner, this is Google with an L at the end, and the other one is Google without the L at the end. There's just a different class of shares. Okay, so we like to look at the Google with the L at the end of it, because that's just the one, the stock that I've always been keying on. You can use whichever one you want. It's the same company. Okay, so Google's sort of been stuck in this range here, right around $130 a share or so. There's not much to really tell. Could be some more sideways action. What you can do is you can also draw. We got the uptrend here. We've got a little bit of a downtrend here. So it brings up what we call a wedge here. Okay, a triangular wedge where the range starts to get tighter and tighter, and eventually it's going to pop one way or the other. I think with the momentum being higher since the beginning of 2023, the momentum's been up. It looks like it should keep going in that upward trajectory. So Google's probably going to meander along on this little bit of action right here, this area, and then it'll eventually pop out. I don't know if it'll happen this week, maybe the week prior, but not much action going on in Google. Let's look at Tesla. Tesla's also been pretty much all over the place. I say this every week. Tesla is a hard one to figure out because it's just all over the place, but people are continually bullish on Tesla. It actually looks like it wants to break out pretty convincingly above this $253 level. You can see these congestion areas that we've drawn multiple times. It fell out through this triangle here to the downside, but just got its mojo back. So let's get rid of some of these lines here to make it less confusing looking and see if we can see any other pattern. So what you want to do, if you're an options trader and you're looking to figure out what trade to make, you got to figure out, which way the stock may be moving. If you can't figure it out, then it's not worth putting your money on the line for the trade. So what do we see here? Well, the first thing I see is we've got this nice upwards momentum here. Okay, you've got the support moving higher. Okay, and the other thing I see here is it's sort of making a little bit of a flat top right here. Okay, right around that low 250 level. So I think if Tesla can get above this 255 area, just above the resistance, it's probably going to keep going. Maybe shoot for this 300 area. This last time it hit 300 back in the summer. So you've got the momentum moving higher. It just has to get through this resistance right here. And if it can do that, it's probably going to keep moving higher. Let's look at Microsoft, another biggie. These are the biggies. You can see these prior lines that we've drawn. Here is some support right around the 310 area level and just been powering higher since. Microsoft's little sideways action here. You know, the momentum is higher. Whether it will take out this prior high, we don't know yet. This is a little bit of a sideways action. Doesn't look as strong to me as some of these other stocks we just looked at. So maybe Microsoft will probably move a little sideways here over the next week. Let's see what else we have here. We go through our stocks. Let's look at AMD. AMD has just been strong. It was in this downtrend, and all of a sudden it just turned higher. Had that seasonal period. The end of the year is a bullish period, and it just turned on a dime right here. There was really no rhyme or reason that it just moved higher, except that everything else was moving higher. But AMD, we know, is a good, strong chip sector stock, and it's just got above $140 this week. Where is that in conjunction to where it's been in the past? Let's take a look at AMD. So the high for AMD is still above 160. So it's got a little bit of ways to go before taking out that all-time new highs. But look how strong it is. Sort of getting into not totally overbought areas, but this power move higher probably needs to take a little bit of a breather for a couple of days before it decides if it wants to keep moving higher again. Let's see what else. Oh, we looked at Apple? We looked at Apple. Let's look at Netflix, another biggie. Netflix, okay? So Netflix had earnings here, see the gap up, and it just kept moving higher. Now what we can do here is, once again, we can draw the support. It's moving higher. We can draw the resistance line right around here. You use these prior areas of highs or lows to set your gauge of where the stock needs to go. So Netflix got a little bit more activity before it gets above this high here. It's probably around the 480 level. Let's see what my numbers are telling me. This is 485. This day right here, 485 on high. So Netflix needs to get through 485 in order to keep going higher. But you can see the trend has been upwards. So Netflix will probably keep moving along this uptrending line here. It'll attack the resistance area at 485. If it can convincingly get through 485, then it will keep going. I always use this physics analogy. An object in motion tends to stay in that motion until something pushes it in the other direction. If a stock is trending higher, there's really nothing that's going to hold it back unless there's big things that will push it in the other direction. And most likely that's a company-specific news item. Typically that would be earnings or some major geopolitical catastrophe. But for now, Netflix has momentum on its side. If it can get through 485, then it's going to keep going. Okay, that's just how the stocks work. Momentum is everything. Let's see what else we have here. Cisco still trying to get back after its earnings dump. Procter & Gamble looking not too strong there. Walmart, let's take a quick look at Walmart. So Walmart, we all know, great company, just been in this nice uptrend, and then it had made this nice high up here at 170, and then the earnings came and just knocked it off of its perch. So has fallen below the uptrending line here, the channel, fallen below all the moving averages. Okay, here's the 200-day moving average, which is very significant, has fallen below it. Walmart's got a lot of work to do to get back up there, so it's probably going to meander a little bit down here. The RSI isn't completely oversold yet, so we may see a little bit more downside or sideways action on Walmart. Okay, it's got the downward momentum right now, so before it really starts to get back higher again, it's got to work off this selling. It's probably going to move sideways until people are comfortable that this 150 area is a value area. Until then, I really don't see Walmart making too much of a higher move, unfortunately. I like Walmart, and it's got to work off all that selling. Disney, look at Disney. Disney trying to get itself back up here. Been in the down in the dumps for a long time. But the good thing about Disney is that it's above the 200-day moving average. It looks like it potentially could move higher. The good thing is that it's been staying above the 200-day moving average, which is a good thing. RSI is right in the middle here. So I think Disney could, the path of least resistance for Disney is moving higher. So if you're bullish or you want to take some kind of bullish trades, what we like to do is we sell put options. We sell put options at way out of the money strikes, just to give us more cushion in case we're wrong on our directional assessment. And speaking of selling put options, let's quickly run over to our website here, smartoptionseller.com. A couple things I want to show you. If you don't know anything about selling put options, go to our website, smartoptionseller.com. Here's our put selling basics link. Click on this header right here. It's going to take you to our free ebook. Okay, you learn about put selling, tell you why we love it so much, why it's our main gig here. Scroll down. You can put your name and email address in here. We'll send you an email back that's got a link for the free ebook. We love selling put options. If you want to learn more about what we do here, here's our services tab. We have a couple newsletters all about selling put options. We have our put selling webinar recordings. If you want to learn and watch, 5 hours of us talking about put selling, you could look at our put selling webinar recordings. We have our one-on-one coaching. So there's a lot of things that you can do here if you want to learn a little bit more about what we do. All right, let's jump back to the charts here. Let's see what other charts are jumping out on us. Let's look at our list here. The pharmaceuticals, the drug companies have been down in the dumps. Pfizer, Bristol Myers, Merck, J&J. We look at those. I just want to show you, Pfizer had some kind of announcement this week that another one of their drugs just didn't pan out the way they wanted to. So we had this gap lower here. So Pfizer just didn't keep going down. Let's look at the long-term chart on Pfizer. See if there's any value area here. I mean, at some point it's got to stop going down. $25. Hasn't been hit since sometime late 2012, so over 11-year low here. Pfizer's just been coming down. It's lost more than half of its value. Is there a point where the selling has to stop? Yes, obviously. The RSI, the monthly RSI is getting pretty low here. So if you were, wanting to try to pick bottoms, a lot of people try to pick bottoms, but sometimes that doesn't work because the stock could always keep going lower. But if you think there's a value area within Pfizer that you're like, okay, I'm okay buying Pfizer at $25 or $22.50, whatever it is, you can consider selling put options. That's what selling put options is all about. You can put in, basically, you set a limit order for yourself, a line in the sand where you're willing to potentially step up and buy the shares of the stock, and someone will pay you money for your obligation. So you have to figure out, where would I be comfortable buying Pfizer? It's come down quite a bit. Is $25 the low that it's going to get to? Maybe it'll fall to $20. We don't know, but what you can do is you can look at selling put options at an area where you would be comfortable potentially buying shares of that stock. Now, let me just quickly show you how you do that. We're going to quickly pull up an options chain here. This is my Interactive Brokers options chain. Interactive Brokers is a broker. They're good all around the world. If you want to find a little bit more about Interactive Brokers, below this video in the description, read the description, expand that description area, and you'll see the link for Interactive Brokers if you want to get some more information on them. So what we can do here is that we can, actually I have Pfizer right here. Where's my Pfizer? Right here. So we can pull up some put options on Pfizer. Right here on the right-hand side is the put options for Pfizer. Now you can go out a couple months. Let's move out to, let's go to March and see what these Pfizer put options are paying. So let's just say $25 is good for you. You'd be okay buying Pfizer, $25. Here's how much money you'll get paid. So here's the Pfizer puts that went out on Friday. December 15th. These are for the March 2024 expiration. So somewhere between 76 and 80 cents. That's how it went out on Friday. So let's just say you can sell these things for 78 cents a contract. You have to multiply these numbers by 100. That's the 100 multiplier. Each option contract contains 100 shares of stock. So if you sell these things, you'll get about $78 for every one contract that you sell. What does that do for you? It obligates you to buy 100 shares of Pfizer for $25 a share up until March of 2024. Okay, and so for you putting in your obligation ahead of time, because you don't know where Pfizer's going to end up in March, someone's going to pay you $78 for every 100 shares that you're willing to buy. Pfizer closed at 26.63, so you got a little bit of cushion down to 25. So up to you. If you're looking to sell maybe the 22.5 puts, or I'm saying you can sell the 22.5 puts, that obligates you to buy shares at 22.5. You'll get maybe $23 for every contract that you sell. You can always go out much longer in time. Let's look at June 2024. For those same 22.5 puts, you can get roughly, let's wait for the numbers, you can get maybe $65 for every contract you sell. So the longer out in time you go in the expiration scale, the more money you'll get. But you'll just have to wait longer to see, where Pfizer ends up. Now, I'll put some other videos on the screen at the end of this video, some other put selling videos that we've made that can really help you understand what that's all about. So let's quickly go back here and look at the charts. So the pharmaceutical stocks, the drug companies, they've all been getting hit pretty good. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on those. Verizon is a stock that I always talk about as the stock that has been going down, 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 down. You don't want to try to buy bottoms or pick bottoms because it keeps going down. But finally, Verizon has made the turn, I believe, has finally got above all the moving averages, had this nice move, has pulled back to the 20-day moving average right here. So I think Verizon has finally found its bottom. The bottom was just above $30 a share. So Verizon could be, the selling should stop at this point, and now it should eventually start to keep moving higher. So I'm more cautiously bullish now on Verizon than I've been a bear for a while on them. Now I'm more cautiously bullish. So for me, selling out of the money put options on Verizon is something that I'm really going to look at as long as the numbers are good. So that's my take on Verizon. Let's see what else. Costco, just a monster. It had earnings this week. Look here. We had the sideways action here. Okay, we had the channel. $600 was that line in the sand, this right here, and it's just blasted higher. It got up to $658. This week hit that high. Is that an all-time high for Costco? Let's take a quick look here for the monthly. Yep, Costco all-time new highs. Just a monster of stock. Great company. I shop at Costco. Love going there as well. So you can see, once it's in a channel, once it breaks out, it typically will keep going in that direction. I probably couldn't get bullish here. It's come up a long way. The RSI is in that overbought area. So I would not really go deep or hard into bullish positions here because it's just gone up so much. There's going to be some pullback at some point. So be careful here. You don't want to get FOMO and try to jump on the bullish bandwagon because it's already gone up quite a bit. So just be careful on that. That's why you want to look at the charts. You want to look at the overbought areas just to see. You don't want to jump in here hand over fist because you'll probably have a pullback because it's gone up so much. Gravity has to take over at some point. So be careful on that. I want to look at Pepsi and Coca-Cola. Two great companies. Pepsi had been in this nice uptrending channel, has fallen pretty far down below it, but look here, support right on this oversold area on the RSI and starting to slowly move back up. Pepsi is in this sideways channel here. Okay, you can draw some lines here, mostly, right around here and here. We've got this tight little channel here. So keep an eye on Pepsi. If it can get back above 170, I've got my eyes on the 170 level. Okay, if it can get and stay above 170, it's probably going to work its way back higher. Let's look at Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola also fell out of the sideways channel here, went down, has moved back up, but you can see it found resistance right at the 200-day moving average. So use these moving averages as your magnets for support and resistance. I'd like to see Coca-Cola. You can see it fell below the 20-day moving average here, but it closed above it. There's a little dash on the right side of the bar here. You can barely see it. That's where it closed for the day. Closing prices are very important. So I'd like to see Coca-Cola keep moving up in this momentum and get above the 200-day moving average and keep going higher. All right, let's see if there's anything else that we want to talk about. Meta, Facebook/Meta, another strong one. I like this one pretty good here. We have a position in Meta. We sold some put option spreads on it. I like the bullish upward momentum here. Let's quickly draw this one out so you can see what I'm seeing. We've got this, this upside movement. We've got we've got the resistance right above 340 here. Let's draw that line. So I think Meta's just going to keep moving in this upward momentum. If it gets above 340, it's going to keep going. This is a good pattern right here. I love this type of pattern. It's just moving along the higher highs, higher lows, moving along the trend line here. And if it can convincingly get through 340, it's going to keep going higher. Okay, so those are the kinds of things we like to look for. Anything else? IBM, strong stock too, looking good. What else? I think that's about it. All right, so quickly, let's run back to the SPY. The S&P 500, I like to use that as my best gauge of the market as a whole. Looking strong here. It's gotten to a little bit of overbought area, so we may see a little bit of pullback here during the week, but I think through the end of the year, it's going to keep moving higher. It wants to take out that 480. So I'm bullish. Even though we may have a little bit of pullback, overall, I'm bullish for the long run. All right, that's it for your chart reading this week. We want to be ready for the next week. You need to make sure you look at the charts so you know what's coming ahead. You don't want to make any kind of option trades without checking the charts. All right, that's all for me today. Please give me a like, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. You can hit that red subscribe button. Once again, in the description below. Read through there. I got lots of links for websites and books and things that could help you, things that I use. So if you click on those, take a look and see what we have. All right. I hope everyone has a great week of trading ahead. This is Lee Lowell signing off.